cheers, happy Sunday. When you start with Final Cut Pro, this is how you'll start a clean, empty window. What we're trying to do is organize things in a structured way so that you can keep your files together. Final Cut is a professional editing software suite, in fact. So it's designed for taking in multiple inputs from sound as well as video, as well as music streams. Final Cut Pro is the area that will bring all of these things together. To keep them all together and to manage those together, what I tend to do is keep them all in a single library, in a single event, and with a single project within the event within that library. So we'll start off by creating a new library. So I've created a folder here called Final Cut, and I've got another one called Final Cut Work Library. Sunday Outing is now created, so we've now got a new folder that sits inside of Finder. Now, to help me work out what's in there and what this is about, I'm going to repeat that. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy Command and C, copy that name, save it. I'm going to repeat this now for the next event, which event is Option N, and then Command V, and then Command N, now creating a project with again with the same name, so Control V again. So now you can see the structure. So we've got our library, we've got our event, and we've now got a project within that event. Okay, so now we're ready to start putting film and data in there. So I've taken the SD card out of my GoPro and I put it in the side of my MacBook. You know, if you've got your card reader or whatever you've got connected, do the same sort of thing. When you do that, Final Cut recognises that you've got some new footage, and it will pop open a window for you and allow you to select whichever records you want to be able to pull it in. I'm now going to look at the ones that I want to pull in, and this is today. Down to the bottom, and I'm going to select where I want that to be imported to. So I'm going to pick Sunday Outing from the drop down. I'm also going to make sure that I copy to library. So what that's going to do is take a copy from where it is. It leaves the data there as well, but it'll bring that data in to that file structure. But I'm going to make sure that I bring that in because I want a copy of that to follow the project all the way through. I want to keep the original footage in case I want to go back to it for any reason and take a cut or whatever. There we go, import selected, and away it's going. If we click on this little circle up here, you can actually see what's happening in the background. What Final Cut is clever enough to do is know that it can process whilst you're not working, and then as soon as you start editing or as soon as you start doing something within Final Cut, looking at the features or creating new stuff, it will pause it and then it will come back to it once you've stopped doing that work. So it uses the dead time in effect, and that creates is a faster mechanism, a faster way of working. Next, I'm going to import my template. What I've got is I've created a library that I can reuse time and time again. When I'm creating a new video, I've got the same intro, I've got the same outro, and I've created templates so I can copy and paste that to speed things up. So I'm going across to my template, clicking on it, and there we see the template. I'm going to select all of those items, Control Copy, scoot back over to Sunday Outing, double select that. Here we've got our blank timeline, nothing in place at the moment. Right to the start, Command V, and here I go. Now I'm going to start creating the video. So when you create the first footage, put the first footage in place, which in this place is the copy of the template. Final Cut Pro will ask you how you want this to be set up, and this is where you can set up. I'm going to say it's going to be a 4K video. I'm going to say the resolution stays as it is. I'm going to say that the rate I'm going to use for this particular example is going to be 24p or 24 frames a second, leaving it as Apple ProRes, stereo, and so on and forth, and away we go. So now that is going to start creating our timeline. Final Cut Pro recognizes that you've got data from a different project, and as you've told it earlier that you want the data to remain in a single library, it says okay, if you want you can now bring that data in. So in this case, I'm going to do that. So now you've got the footage ready to start editing. So I'm going to pull in the opening shot. I'm going to pull the whole of this in, and I'm just going to select that entire section and say W. And that is now pulled in. I'm going to show you what I do with some completed footage. Okay, so I'm just going to open up one of the previous projects that I've worked on. There we go. 25 big screen. Is I'm going to open up Finder so you can see what's happening in the background. I've got here a backup disk which is hidden down the back here. And what I'm going to do is now take my footage from the MacBook onto the backup disk. Now this is the event that I want to move. So there we go, big screen. Here's the event. Now you can only do this when you've got more than one event within the library. Here we go then. We're going to take this event and we're going to move it into our backup. File, move event to library. We're going to select new library and we're going to select our big disk. We're going to go down to our FCP archive, Final Cut Pro archive, which is this one here. We're going to create a new folder. I'm just going to call it exactly the same name. There we go, big screen. And then I'm going to create, and what we should see is in here, there we go. There is our new archive folder being created. I'm going to save it as, same again. So again, this is where it'd be useful to just copy and paste the name, and save. Then we get the message, move the event to library 2112-25 big screen. Select the items, original media. And now in this case, we're only going to move the original media. So here we go. Again, there is now our project being created. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that we've got all the media in there. Now what we're going to do this time is we're going to select our new library and we're going to say storage locations, and we're going to modify the storage locations. What we're going to do is we're going to modify them from the current location, which is the MacBook Pro. We're going to choose the new one, which is the big backup disk. You select the entire library, you get a menu pop up on the right hand side. We're going to modify storage locations, the one at the top. We're going to say where we want our media, original media that was recorded. Choosing the folder, scoot across to big disk again. Now down the bottom where I've got my FCP archive, double click that. Now I'm looking for the new folder it created. There it is, number 25. I'm going to choose it and I'm going to say, right, choose. What that's now going to do is when I OK it, is start to use that area for where any new media goes. But at the moment, we're not going to put new media in there. We've got a load of old stuff that's in there. So you have to go back into selecting the library again. And this time I'm going to say consolidate. Now what consolidate does is I'm going to take all of the footage, or rather Final Cut will take all the footage or anything that you've actually got stored from any of the locations and move it to where you've told it you want the media to be in this section. So I'm going to go away, say now consolidate, and I'm only going to select again original media. I'm going to say OK, and what should happen? There we go. Here's the new folder that's created for the original media, and it's going to start pulling in all of our original media from the existing location, wherever that is on your disk. In this case, we've got it in our library created on this MacBook, and it's going to pull it into the new storage location, the backup location. What it's actually going to do also is take it off your MacBook or take it off of your laptop and move it into your long-term storage device. There is some residual stuff that's left behind, and we'll have to go back in and clean that up, but we'll do that next. Again, let's click on this so you can actually see what's happening. Media management in this case, moving event to library. And off it goes, shifting data from my MacBook in this case over into the big storage disk. We've created our libraries in the backup folder. We've created our projects, our events and our projects within the backup folder as well. So now we've got the tidy up to do with the residual stuff that's left on our MacBook. So in this case, I've got my rich MacBook Pro. I've got my Final Cut folder. Within Final Cut, I've got my Final Cut work library. And then within this, we've got our work folder. So this is it here, big screen. Within Final Cut Pro, first of all, just close that down. So double click and close library. That now closed off. Scoot back over to Finder. Within Finder, we're actually going to say, OK, Command and delete. That now shifts that into the recycle bin. Now, date modified sort by. There is the folder that we've just got rid of. And that's all of the data that we've now just deleted. So we've removed the data from the MacBook, from our working directory, and we've now got it all stored quite safely, a backup folder, FCP archive. Within that we've got our folder which has got big screen, and within the big screen folder that we've created, in effect our library, we've got the working directory. So if we double click this, it will actually open up Final Cut Pro and bring us back to the original footage and the original data. So we're going to do that now just to show you what we've got. Double click, there we go, opens within Final Cut Pro, opens up our libraries, and within this you can see here's all of the stuff that we've got sorted. Here's our project, here's the event, and all of this now is all on the backup disk. It's taken off of the main MacBook Pro, and we've got a lot of data and a lot of space saved from our working directories. All good. So that's about it. It's quite easy to do once you get your head around it. You've just got to remember those three things. It's that library, then the event, and then the project. So make sure that that is all shifted into that one library. It's make sure that at the end of that final move, once you've got those moves across, that you shift all of your residual data from your main drive into your backup, and that's it then. You've got everything recorded and everything's safe to refer back to and use again in the future, and also minimizes that space on your working drive. So that's it. So I hope that was useful to you, and if it was, then give us a thumbs up, mate. Thank you very much, and in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I am Rich, and this is It's Adventures. Catch you again tomorrow.